Welcome back to CAN, Caribbean Affiliate News. My name is Siobhan Gobin. This segment of the news is sponsored by TravelSpan Vacations. In what could be deemed the first sign of a shakeup at the struggling Guyana Sugar Corporation, the contract of its Deputy Chief Executive Officer Raj Narain Singh has been terminated. But the move is not going down well with some sections of the corporation, with criticisms that government may be looking in the wrong direction and targeting the wrong people. Singh, who served as a director of Guy Succo's board between 2002 to 2007, was appointed to that position in 2009. Reporters were told yesterday that on Wednesday, Singh was notified that the termination clause in his contract was being put into effect. Under the contract, both parties can serve a 3-month notice to end ties. Singh will be staying on for the next 3 months. Singh is a former chairman of the Guyana Forestry Commission and heads the boards of the Guyana National Shipping Corporation and the National Agricultural and Research Extension Institute. He has also served on the boards of the Guyana Power and Light and the Guyana Water Incorporated. He confirmed that he was informed of the decision on Wednesday. In TNT, take back schools and communities from so-called community leaders. Chair of the Trinidad and Tobago National Commission for UNESCO, Dr. Chris Rampersad, told educators last week. She was addressing the closing ceremony of a joint initiative by UNESCO and the Ministry of Education in Port of Spain for pilot training of some 125 principals, school supervisors, and teachers. And I quote, "For too long our children have been kidnapped and our society has been hijacked and held to ransom by bandits and criminals who were held up as community leaders and to whom, tragically, the society now seems to be turning for advice to address the very problems they create. You are the community leaders," Rampersad told the graduates before they were presented certificates of completion of the course Leading for Literacy Now. And I quote, "For too long, the schoolmaster and mistress, who were once significant and pivotal axes of social life in our villages and districts, have either abdicated their roles as leaders or been forced out of them by other social pressures," she continued. The educators participated in a pilot training in leadership skills, training toward improving literacy levels, beginning with primary schools with special focus on teachers of infant 1 and 2. A national call was made by the Commission through the Education Ministry, and the participants were selected from voluntary applicants. "For too long, we have been held to ransom by bandits and criminals in the guise of leaders and social and community leaders. We ask you now to go back and reclaim those spaces, to see yourself and to present and represent yourselves as the leaders that you are. To put your hands up proudly when there are calls for meetings and discussions and consultations with community leaders and say that you are leaders in your community. We ask you that you return to your schools to no longer cower before bullying parents and misguided children and take charge," Rampersad said. She noted that the course has helped equip and tool principals and teachers to return to the new school term with fresh perspectives and approaches to face some of the challenges they may confront. The exercise was conducted by facilitators from the UK-based National Training College for School Leadership with financial and other technical support from UNESCO, the Ministry of Education, the National Commission, Be Mobile, and the Army Leadership Training Center of the Trinidad and Tobago Regiment. And I quote, "We ask you to use what you have learned here to not just influence but to transform the directions of our education system and by extension our society as well," Rampersad urged, noting a growing nervousness in the society enveloped in a wind of change that is causing considerable restlessness and which requires solid management of the processes of change and transformation. Acknowledging that the problems facing educators are many and not insignificant, she challenged the trainees to take their learning back to school and expressed the hope to see positive results by as early as the end of the first term, December 2013. Barbados Prime Minister Freundel Stewart has urged commercial banks to invest in the island's hotel sector. Stewart told the media on Friday that financial institutions should be willing to take investment in that sector seriously. And I quote, If I can't continue to make a lot of sense for banks to lend people money to buy motor cars, a more serious investment than investment in a sector that leads the Barbadian economy and that earns us most of the foreign exchange we need to sustain our standard of living and quality of life. He says there has to be a change in the thinking of our banking institutions. Conspicuous consumption is not the creed for this time. What we want is serious investment in things that have a long-term significance for the economy of Barbados. And therefore, we are going to have some conversations with our financial institutions so that they take a more long-term view of their presence there in Barbados. Barbados has been good to them, and we want to see them digging in more seriously here in terms of being willing to invest in this lead sector, the Prime Minister stated. He proffered the view that the tourism industry had to be brought back on track if there was to be an improvement in the island's economy. And I quote, "If the tourism industry has faced some serious challenges as a result of the global economic downturn, and we are only going to have a competitive edge in this sector if we have some unique products and a unique experience to share with those who come to our shores," he remarked. Stating that he was not new to challenge, leader of the Jamaica Labour Party, Andrew Holness, said he had no fear that he would prevail if this leadership were challenged. And I quote, "I am not afraid of any challenge. This is just a stepping stone to build the party. I came into politics as a calling. I was called to serve you," Holness stated, adding that he had the right criteria that Jamaicans needed to lead the country. Speaking to party supporters last night in a public forum in South Central St. Catherine, Holness was addressing Deputy Leader of the JLP, Audley Shaw's announcement last week that he was considering vying for party leadership. Holness cautioned party supporters to be careful of sweet mouth and empty promises from those seeking to lead them. With the backing of some of JLP's top hierarchy, party lines were drawn as some stalwarts of the party put their full support behind Holness and issued strong words to Shaw. Pernell Charles, Everell Warmington, Babsy Grange, Shaheen Robinson, Sharon Hay Webster, and Andrew Wheatley were among those who did not mince words about the pending leadership challenge. Expressing that he was the best finance minister, they invited Shaw to come to his senses and rejoin the team with Holness as leader so that they could successfully challenge the People's National Party in the next general election. He said if Shaw had a problem, he should air his grouses at the standing committee instead of seeking to divide the party. Warmington said unless Shaw came with a better plan than Holness, he would not give him his full support. He noted that the party needed a leader who could win and hold seats. Meanwhile, declaring that he had arrived at a crossroads in his political life, Shaw emotionally promised a pulsating meeting of the JLP Area Council 3 yesterday that he would inform the nation within the next 3 weeks whether he will take the challenge to Holness Holness. Minutes later, however, Shaw served the clearest of signals amid cheers from some supporters and hoots of disapproval from others that a challenge for the party's top position was imminent. It was the first time that Shaw was speaking publicly about his intention to challenge Holness for the post of leader of the JLP. He served notice that he would definitely not be returning as deputy leader at November's annual conference. Shaw, the deputy leader for the area council for the last 14 years, told supporters that he reminded Holness of his own expressed position on the virtues of democracy of the JLP and served notice that he was taking the JLP leader at his word. Pre-meeting tensions were averted by alert councillors as members who supported a leadership challenge were engaged in fierce verbal exchanges with those who did not. Even as supporters chanted "leader" and a man of yard to the countering chants of "we don't want no challenge," Shaw lashed out against claims that he was involved in a plot to oust Holness. You're watching Caribbean Affiliate News. Stay tuned.